There's one person that doesn't have to worry about any rules, and that would be the dear son of the dear leader, his fraudulency the second, Mr. Hunter Biden, who it turns out there's even more crimes he's been allowed to commit with immunity and impunity. And this time it implicated the Secret Service and implicated key Trump administration officials who helped cover it up and hid it from Trump himself. So a recurring theme of Trump not always appointing the best people, but the putting that aside, it should be shocking. It's sadly not. But the backstory of what happened is just one more example of a two-tiered system of justice.
For anybody who doesn't know it, I'll give it a 30,000-foot overview. It might even be just the overview. Apparently, in 2018, Hunter Biden went to procure a firearm and filled out a form on which he inaccurately responded to past consumption habits. That I think is the bottom line.
It was not a health stick. It was an unhealthy version of that.
Yeah, it was. I won't even make the joke. We all know
there was a crack in the foundation.
It was. We know what it was because he was dishonorably discharged for the very reason from the military. So, false answer on an application to procure a firearm. Apparently,
which is governed by federal law and is a perjury and a false claim charge for multiple years in prison.
So it's a felony
for you and me. But we're not named Hunter Biden.
So his girlfriend or wife, I don't know who she was at the time.
This is the other fun part of the story. So Hunter's way of consoling the widow of his brother was he decided to bang her because apparently that's how they handle it in the Biden family. It's like, oh, honey, that's so sad that your husband's dead. Why don't we have an affair? And so that's who it was he was having the affair with.
Well, so in fairness, under certain religious laws, it is a brother's obligation or it is a spouse's obligation to marry the widow of their spouse. Now, the only issue is one can ask.
That might be, some centuries ago.
It was centuries ago. There was social reasons at the time, but the main question is how and when did the relationship start? I can foresee it.
Very quickly.
I can imagine it happening. Everyone is distraught, and I don't mean to make light of that. But the question is did it start earlier? But that's another issue. So it's the
Bidens, so they're just a very touchy-feely kind of family.
The chat has now gone a little crazy. I'm going to ignore the chat for a second. So Hunter Biden's brother's widow freaks out about it, takes the firearm and throws it in a dumpster, which, from what I understand, is also a felony.
Of course, because that's how guns get out on the market street and aren't in where they're supposed to be controlled. Put in a random trash can. And apparently she was concerned about his drug habits, potential assault risk. There was money issues. There was also some other issues. There were some photos on that laptop that might have been some other issues with some kids.
So without
leave it at that.
Without getting into that, which was, the story, the time the good social media censored an accurate story. She chucks it in a dumpster, which incidentally was right across the street from a high school. Then when he flips out and tells her to go back and get it, she goes back and it's not there anymore. As luck would have it, apparently a homeless person who rummages through the garbage found it. But apparently, and this is the unconfirmed element of the story, the FBI can neither confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation. The Secret Service cannot confirm the existence of this fact.
Yeah, but they didn't keep any notes of their illicit activities on behalf of the Biden. That's what they can confirm.
Apparently, the Secret Service paid a visit to the shop where Hunter procured the firearm and asked for the papers, and the shop got the impression that this was to erase the chain of command of sorts in the event that a crime were to have been or were to be committed with that now dumpster firearm. The guy said no. I forget who he gave the paperwork to ultimately, but no crime was committed with it because a homeless person found it and gave it back. And that's it. And this was in 2018. It seems that at least, I don't know what broke the story, because I Tim Pool did a piece on it. I saw you sent me a bunch of links. What broke this story?
The Gateway Pundit and some other people had been reporting on this back before the election, but the story was mostly buried until text got confirmed from the laptop where Hunter himself was describing what happened to Politico and others. And that's how it went mainstream.
And it went mainstream. Are there statute of limitations for these types of crimes? Like
there are, but I don't think any of it passed. But it's another sign that, in Delaware, even the gun shop knew something was up. And that tells you what the reputation of the Bidens in that state is. I mean, you've had, family members get pulled over for DUI, get to take a walk, drug problems, take a walk. I mean, Hunter got pulled over in LA. He got pulled over in other places with, caught with drugs, with other problems. He had a gun pointed at him once over a drug deal, managed to never go to prison for any of it. A lot of this only became public when he knocked up the stripper. That's the song in Arkansas is a tribute to the old song from the 1890s. Ma, where's my grandpa? Going to the White House. Ha, ha, ha. And that's the nature of the situation. And just, it's a double standard. It's another scandal covered up during the campaign, covered up even by people that were supposed to be working for Trump in the White House, helping, and it implicates another law enforcement agency. In this case, the Secret Service. And Secret Service people, there have been rumors for years coming out of the Secret Service about Biden harassing people, swimming in the nude in front of women agents, groping Secret Service girlfriends and wives. I mean, there's been a lot of stories that come out, and now more and more are looking true. And it's just the scale of the cover-up is unconscionable. I mean, this makes us look like a banana republic in our standards and tiers of justice.
Well, this is going to be the good segue to the next subject, because talking about the two-tier system of justice, and anybody would be in jail for this. I mean, it's like, people make the joke, sorry, I had a boating accident and I can't find my weapons, my firearms anymore. Chucking it in a dumpster after having, feloniously lied on the application, it's beyond anything. And thus far, nothing has been done about it, and probably nothing will. And people are going to look at this and laugh, and they make a joke and call this computer Putin propaganda. But people in Russia are looking at this and saying, holy crap, at least we do our best to hide it in Russia. This puts us to shame. But then you go to the granny and pops, the grandma and her son. She's not really a grandma, Robert. She's 50 years old. And her son, who meandered into the Capitol Hill on the day of the riots, didn't break anything, didn't steal anything. They were not stopped by security as they were meandering in.